Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to manipulate a basic sleeve into an A-line sleeve with ruffles. So the first thing we're going to do is change this sleeve into an A-line sleeve. To do that, measure the bicep line from the middle line to the underarm seam. So that's 7.875. Any measurement you derive on your own, you're going to add to it. Okay, you could add 3, 4, 5, as much as you want. So that's 7.875. I'm going to be adding 4 to that. So that makes it 11.875. So that's what I'm marking on the hemline. So I marked 11.875 on the back of the sleeve. So just as I've marked it here, I will mark it on the front. So right here too, I'm also going to mark 11.875. So I'm going to redraw the underarm seams to complete the A-line sleeve. I'm going to draw the line at the back as well. And here guys, this is the A-line sleeve. So right now I'll get my scissors and cut out the sleeve. So I'm done cutting out. The next thing is I'm going to be marking 5 inches down from the bicep. You could mark any measurement you want, but I want the style line to be high. So I'm marking 5 inches there. Now I'll redraw the hemline with my hip curve. Okay, so it's going to curve from the back and from the front. So starting with the back, I'm going to place my curve. Pay attention to how I'm placing the curve. I would curve the hemline on the back and I'll invert the curve and repeat the same process on the front as well. So you can see the hemline is curved. We're going to be cutting out following the curved construction we just did. Following the scissor sign, we are also going to be discarding this area of the sleeve. So right now I'll get my scissors and cut out so that you can see. So please, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel, like, share the video. If you have questions or suggestions for future content, please say so in the comment section. Dun, da, da, da. So I'm done cutting that part out. So after cutting out, you can see the curved hemline. That is where we're going to be attaching the ruffles. So right now, measure around the curved hemline just as I'm doing. Okay, so that's 29. Any measurement you get on your own sleeve, for the width of your gathered flare, multiply by 3, 4, 5. But in this example, I'm multiplying by 3. So you can see that's 87 plus seam allowance. The length is as desired, but I'm using 10 in this tutorial. So you're going to be drafting a box, but you can do this on fabric, 87 by 10 inches. But just do that on fabric, no need to do it on paper. So right now I've cut out the sleeve. You can see I've added seam allowance around the sleeve, half-inch seam allowance. And here's the box as well, 87 by 10 inches. You can see how wide it is. So right now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to hem the box down here, and up here I'm going to run gather stitches. So you can see my ruffle nicely hemmed and nicely gathered here. So right now I'll take the sleeve, I'll lay it down. I'm going to attach the ruffles to the hemline, but in order to do that, I'm going to flip it right sides facing right sides. So you can see how I'm arranging it. I'm going to be sewing with half-inch seam allowance, but before that, I'll pin it for you to see. So you can see I have pinned. Now I'm going to sew with half-inch seam allowance. So I've attached the ruffle to the sleeve. You can see the curved hemline and you can see the point of attachment. So right now the next thing is the underarm seam. I'm going to place this sleeve right side facing right sides so that I can sew the underarm seam. But before doing that, I'm going to pin. I love pinning. Pinning is very cool. helps me sew more precisely. I tell you, when you pin, your sewing is more precise because you have more control over the fabric because you have those pins holding it down. Okay, so I'm just going to apply one more pin. Here we go. So I'm going to lay this down. I want to show you something. We are going to be truing the underarm seam. Okay, so the A-line sleeve slants like a triangle, and then the ruffle is just like a box. So you can see how it's shooting out. So we want to true that underarm seam so that everything slants just like the A-line. Okay, so from this from that edge there, we are going to be truing that underarm seam. So you're going to take your ruler, you're going to place it from the edge where it meets the sleeve. That's where you see that black. Okay, take your chalk and then chalk out so that the underarm seam is slanted all in one. Okay, so I'm going to slash. So I'll take out the pins and cut. Oh, there's a pin there. So you can see the underarm seam is one straight line now. It's no longer different. The reason for the difference is because the ruffle was drafted like a box and the A-line sleeve is more like a triangle. Okay, so the A-line sleeve slants and that's why we trued it. So right now we're going to sew 1/2 inch seam allowance. So here's how it looks like after sewing 1/2 inch seam allowance underarm seam. So I'm going to flip the sleeve back to the right side. It's going to look like this. So da 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 da, you can see the style line, you can see how deep it is, and you can also see how the ruffle curve alongside. So please like, share, subscribe, and stay tuned for more tutorial. Bye.